Mississippi State landed one of the most intriguing quarterbacks in the transfer portal, in my opinion, in Luke Kromenhoek. Let's talk about what that means for Jeff Lebby and Mississippi State's offense right after this. If you like what we are doing here at Campus to Canton, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. We are trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the start of the college football season so we can continue to spread the good word of college fantasy football around the world. We appreciate you guys getting us to 4,000. Now let's get to 5,000. Again, we appreciate all the love and support. All right, so Luke Kromenhoek, one of the quarterbacks that I truly loved in last year's recruiting class, I just thought was a phenomenal athlete, definitely a little bit raw for the position, but a very fun player, very fun quarterback. He ended up committing to Florida State and actually played as a true freshman. And I thought at times played fairly well for them, but ends up entering the transfer portal after Gus Malzahn comes over from UCF as their head coach, takes over as the offensive coordinator, and they bring over Thomas Castellanos in the transfer portal as well, which we knew they had already had that kind of relationship due to their time at Boston College. So then Luke Kromenhoek enters the transfer portal as it looks like he knows, hey, looks like I'm not going to get this job or not get a chance at least to probably compete for this job, enters the transfer portal and lands up here at Mississippi State after they also end up losing Michael Van Buren, who ends up going to LSU. I think this is going to be a great spot for him. So just to kind of give an overview of him, played at Benedict Military High School in Savannah, Georgia, and has actually only been playing quarterback for 2 seasons. He was there when Holden Grenier was the quarterback. So in that first year, he actually played defensive back and wide receiver to help that high school team win their state championship, the Peach State, for a state title in his first year, as well as a quarterback. So he's only been playing quarterback for 2 years. He, as a senior, passed for 2,578 yards, 24-2 touchdown interception ratio, and added 558 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns. He has a ball velo for us at a 54. So for those of you, if this is the first video you've watched, ball velo, we track how hard and how far quarterbacks can throw the ball here at Campus to Canton. Anything over 55 is the average ball velo, or in that 53 to 55 range. So he falls in the average. When you see elite, that's anything from 60 and above. And again, I always like to give this a clarification if you've not seen a video before. The highest we've ever tracked is Josh Allen coming out of high school at a 63, which we saw at Wyoming and we've seen in the NFL. So Luke Kromenhoek falls into the middle range of the ball velo here at 54. It's not bad. You know, it would be, if it was less than that, we'd have a little bit of concern, but not a bad ball velo at all. We have him clocked at 19.1 miles per hour. I think he's a little bit faster than that. And we did not get a chance to track the run that he had this year for Florida State, which is like a 60-yard touchdown run. I'd like to see how fast that we were able to get him maybe on that one. I think maybe he was a little bit faster than that. We have him at a .545 athlete. Comps to players like Kurt Warner, but I see a lot of Michael Pratt in him. Now, he doesn't quite have Michael Pratt's arm, but that's the player that I see when I watch him play. Look, Kromenhoek, he's an exciting prospect. He has all the tools as what you want to see in a modern-day quarterback. Shows good pocket awareness, in my opinion, knows when to flush out of the pocket when needed, and he keeps his eyes downfield for the most part, throwing the ball, but obviously can burn defenders with his legs. He's been shown the ability in high school and a little bit on the field at Florida State in his true freshman season to make plays out of structure. He can throw off platform, throw from multiple different arm angles as well. And when given time, I think that is when he truly shines. As I mentioned earlier with his arm, while it is in the middle pack of ball velo, he can challenge all 3 levels of the field. I don't think he really loses any velocity on his throws down the field. I think a lot of that comes from just his arm and his lower body mechanics there. And I think, there's a couple throws on his high school film where he hits those opposite hash throws. When he's standing on one hash and hits that sideline, those are NFL throws. That's what you want to see. Good velocity on those throws as well. He has shown some ability to throw with touch over defenders in the middle of the field. Now, he is still a work in progress. Kromenhoek is not coming into Mississippi State and is like a finished product at the quarterback position. He is still raw. He's, again, only been playing it for 2 years. I think that he does tend to play a little bit of hero ball at times. His accuracy does seem to wane at times. He's not consistent with that. But if they can rein that in a little bit, which I do think Jeff Lebby can, then Kromenhoek, I think, could become the real deal, not just on Saturdays, but possibly even as a Sunday player as well. Look, he coming over in this Jeff Lebby offense. Lebby comes from that Baylor tree, right? That Veer offense from Art Briles, throughout that whole tree. The difference with Jeff Lebby is he doesn't just always spread everybody out, right? So with this offense, you want like your wide receivers are practically standing on the sidelines, and even the offensive linemen are spread out a little bit. You're trying to cause defenses to kind of like be as spread out as possible to make the reads easier for quarterbacks, which will be good for Luke Kromenhoek at times. But he does run a lot of pro concept plays as well. We saw some of that at Mississippi State this last year. We saw at Oregon with Jackson Arnold and Dylan Gabriel at times as well. And I think that they will do that here. They have added a dynamic running back threat in Fluff Bothwell as well onto this team, which I think will help Kromenhoek when it comes to running the ball, especially in some of those RPO situations, or maybe even some of those plays where he just holds on to the ball and ends up running it. And I think he's the athlete that can do that. They're going to need to add some wide receivers. Obviously, they've had players hit the portal, specifically Mario Craver going into the portal, I think hurts them. They're going to have to add some players there. And there are rumors that they're trying to get Blake Shapen back on one more year of eligibility. If that happens, which could be a good thing for Kromenhoek because he can sit a year, maybe he preserves his red shirt, and then still has 3 more years of eligibility after that. But regardless, I think if Kromenhoek does get the starting job, if they're not able to bring Shapen back, because at this point, Parsons gone, Van Buren's gone. I believe all they have on the roster is Vic Sutton. Kromenhoek's going to be the starter. I think he's got a chance to be really special. I truly believe that. We saw some great moments out of Michael Van Buren last year, and Michael Van Buren is not quite the quarterback prospect that I think Luke Kromenhoek is. So if he is able to get the opportunity to start, I think he could surprise people. Maybe he doesn't do it in that first year, but that second year, I think he'll probably have 3 years here in this offense. I think he's a player who's going to end up putting up fantasy points for you and going to be a player that you want to roster. I truly believe in this player. I wrote him up for our freshman supplemental guide. I was very high on him. I had him as my QB5. I believe we had him as a top 10 quarterback. I do think, again, with his legs and his ability to throw the ball, could end up being a guy who plays on Sundays as well, but he's got to improve a little bit on the consistency and accuracy. What do you guys think, Mississippi State fans? Are you guys excited about landing Luke Kromenhoek in the portal? Do you think he can be that guy for you? Let me know down below, and we will talk to you guys again soon.